I am Alexis Menke-Bowers. So today I'm going to be giving an informative speech on how to draw and paint a person from a reference. So in this day and age, lots of people are really stressed and they just don't have a creative outlet to let any emotions or thoughts or feelings out. So painting, at least in my personal experience, is a really excellent way of getting your emotions out because you don't have to use words. You can paint what you're seeing, you can paint real life, or you can paint how you see things in your head, whether that's abstract versions of real life or just things that simply don't exist. So what I would recommend when you're just getting started is painting from a simple reference. So the one I'm going to be using in this example is this image, and it's just a real simple picture of a woman who's facing forward and there's nothing crazy happening with her face or in the background. It's pretty plain and it's pretty simple. So when you're painting from a reference, the best thing to do is to start with a base sketch just to kind of know what you're gonna end up painting. So the easiest way to do that is just to make an ovular shape with two cross zones on it, which will help position the eyes and the mouth in accordance to the rest of the face. So then you're going to take whatever you're painting on, whether it's a piece of thick paper or an actual canvas, and you're just going to transfer a base sketch over there. So when you're doing a base sketch onto a piece of canvas, it doesn't have to be super complicated or even super accurate to what you're painting. You just want to get something down, that way you have the basic gist of where all the features are going. Now in this case, the reference I picked has a fairly light skin tone. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing mostly white with red, blue, and a little bit of yellow, because that will make a nice peachy color, a nice light peachy color for her skin tone, which is the goal here. So then once you've done that, you're gonna want to put a base tone down for her skin, which is gonna be the mid-tone color. It's just gonna be the most basic color of her skin. And then you're gonna go and you're going to create a darker tone by putting a little bit more blue in, and then you're gonna make a lighter tone of that first base as well by mixing some more white in with that color. And that's going to make it so that when you go to paint the face, you can actually create more structure in it without making it look flat. So here I have their base tone in, as well as I made a darker paint and a lighter paint. So I have the darker paint on the edges of the face and around the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, which gives you a basic idea of where all your features are going to be and the general shape of the face. So now you're going to go through and you're going to add in the details that make it a face. So in this case, you might want a very dark brown to add smaller details or very, very harsh shadows. Now that I've mixed up a dark brown for contrast, I'm going to use a smaller brush and I'm going to go onto my painting and I'm going to add the details that will make it look more like a face, such as we're going to add in some nostrils so that she can breathe. And that's already looking a little bit better, although you can choose to blend if that's how you want your painting to look. And then I'm also going to go in and I'm going to outline the eyes in this darker brown so that it has more contrast and looks more like they're holes in her face. Now that I've gone through and added more details to her face, I'm going to do the finishing details on her face by painting on eyebrows, the colors of her eyes, and adding a little bit of pink to her lips. So in my reference, she's wearing a turtleneck, which makes it quite easy to paint. So I'm just going to take the black and I'm going to real quick give her some clothes before I go on to the hair. That way the hair goes over her clothing. Now since the reference photo I used, the woman has very dark hair, very dark brown hair, I'm gonna mix black, mostly black, with a little bit of red to make it more of a very, very dark brown. And then I'm gonna start painting her hair on her. Now that I've blacked out the main area of her hair, I'm gonna go through with with a thinner brush, and I'm going to give her hair a little bit more detail, and then I'm gonna add in some highlights so it looks a bit more like hair. Now that I've finished adding a little bit of depth and color into her hair, I'm gonna take some white and just add a couple finishing touch highlights to make her hair look super shiny. And then we're gonna be done with the painting. So now that I have a final painting done with a clear direction on a face, you can see that didn't take too long, and I feel nice and relaxed. Now, if you didn't at the start decide to put a background in, you can always go and add a background in after you've already finished your painting. You don't have to do the steps in order to have fun. And you can always decide not to do a realistic painting. That's also always an option. Painting is just supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to de-stress you.